It's finally here, the new Gear 360 for 2017, and these are my hands-on impressions. You're watching 360 Rumors. My name is Mick, and some say I know a little bit about 360 cameras. So in this video, these are just my first impressions, not a full review, but I'm going to cover several things. First, a background of what's so important about the Gear 360 for 2017. Second, I'll talk about its key specifications. Then I'll show you briefly how it's used. And then fourth, I'll talk about my first impressions of its image quality, usability, and all that stuff. Alright, so let's get started. So why is the 2017 Gear 360 so important? Well, as a background, the most popular camera right now is the Ricoh Theta. The Ricoh Theta is a great camera. It takes excellent photos. It takes best-in-class stitching. But the problem is it's got a limited video resolution of 1920 by 960 at 30 FPS. And so a lot of people have been asking for a 4K version of the Ricoh Theta. They've been asking for that for the last, I think, 2 years now. So in 2016, Samsung came up with the original Gear 360, and it outspecs the Ricoh Theta in nearly every respect. The photo resolution was 30 megapixels, while the Ricoh Theta was limited to 14. The video resolution of the Gear 360 was 4K, which is 4 times higher than the resolution of the Ricoh Theta. And the price was just the same as the Ricoh Theta at around $350. So, did it take over the market? Unfortunately, no. And why is that? It's because the Gear 360, the original Gear 360, was like a prima donna. It was so demanding and it had so many requirements. For example, you couldn't use it with just any smartphone. It had to be a Samsung smartphone. Not just any Samsung smartphone, it had to be one of the latest flagship smartphones, S6 and above. And even then, you couldn't stitch 4K on the app unless you had an S7. And sure, you could use a desktop to do it, but it had to be a PC, not a Mac. Not just any PC, but one of the more recent ones that support OpenCL. So on and on and on, so many requirements. So that limited its appeal. And although it had great image quality, it did not overtake the Ricoh Theta. So fast forward to 2017. At Samsung Unpacked 2017, Samsung finally announced the successor to the Gear 360, which is the Gear 360 for 2017. And it's designed in part to fix all the complaints that people had about the Gear 360. But mostly it was about broadening the appeal of the Gear 360. So whereas the original Gear 360 was compatible with only certain smartphones, the new one, the new Gear 360 is compatible not just with the high-end Samsung smartphones, but it's also compatible with the Samsung A5 and A7 for 2017. And it appears to be compatible with at least some Android smartphones. We don't know that for sure yet. But it's also compatible with iPhone 6s and above. So for the first time, Gear 360 is now available to iPhone users. So now let's talk about key specifications. So the 2017 Gear 360 has 2 sensors that are about 8.4 megapixels each. The photo resolution is 15 megapixels. The video resolution is 49:6 by 2048 at 24 FPS. And that's the highest resolution in 360 consumer cameras today. It also features 360 wireless live streaming as I predicted. I like the shape of the new Gear 360. I think it's more practical than the shape of the original Gear 360, which was a little bit hard to hold unless you had the tripod attached. And I didn't always use the tripod. I prefer to use a selfie stick or monopod because it's more versatile. But with the 2017 Gear 360, they've now made it closer to form of a stick. So, like I said, like a 4K. And it is, as I mentioned, compatible with a wider range of smartphones, including iPhones. It also has USB Type-C, and so it can transmit, you can transfer the data faster to your PC. Perhaps one of the most important specs for the 2017 Gear 360 is the price. $249. That is $100 less than the original Gear 360 when it first came out, and it is the lowest cost 4K 360 camera at this time. And like I said, we're trying to appeal to a broader market, and it seems like Samsung is intent on making this the 360 camera for everyone. So now let's talk about how to shoot with the 2017 Gear 360. The controls are very similar to the original Gear 360, which is a good thing because the original Gear 360 had elegant controls, very easy to use, very intuitive, and the 2017 is just as easy to use. So you can shoot with the camera itself, and the menus are navigated by first of all, the menu button, which also doubles as not just for the menu, but also selecting options or moving between options. And then the power button, it also doubles as a back button. The shutter also functions as an OK button when you're navigating through the menu. So you don't even need to see the manual or read the manual to navigate through the menu. It's very intuitive. When you're to shoot with the Gear 360, you simply hold down the power button to turn it on, and there's an OLED display that shows the mode that you're in, whether you're shooting with video or photo. So let's say you're shooting with video, you just press the shutter button and you'll start recording. I have it here on self-timer. So now it's recording, and then you press the button again to stop. And then if you want to switch to photo, you go to the menu, press the menu, it will switch to the different mode, in this case now photo. You take a button, you press the button again, I'm using a self-timer. And then photos taken. So very easy to use. Now if you want to connect to the app, you simply first of all install the app. See the link in the description for where to download the pre-release version of the app. Once you have the app installed, you turn on your camera. Then you launch the app. So I have here a Samsung S6 and instantly it's connected. So the app is very similar to last year's E360 app. So you can change to exposure compensation, white balance, self-timer. And then you could choose between shooting just fully spherical or just with a forward lens or rear lens. There are still no manual controls. You can only there's an auto ISO limit that you could set from 400 to 1600, but that's it. There are no specific controls for shutter speed or setting the ISO to specific ISO. You can also switch between different shooting modes from video to photo, video loop, which means it will continuously record, set duration. There's time lapse and a new mode called Landscape HDR, which is a true HDR mode, and it's a multi-shot HDR and it combines exposures automatically. Unfortunately, you won't get the individual shots that comprise the HDR. There's also live streaming, as I mentioned earlier, but the pre-release version did not seem to include live streaming yet. So as of now, the only pre-release version I have is for Android, and the Apple or the iOS version is not yet available, but it will definitely be available upon release. The photos and videos are not stitched in the camera, rather they're stitched in the app. So to view them and stitch them, you simply go to the gallery, and you'll see the list of photos and videos you've taken. Now when you see one of the options is to save, and when you press save on the photo or video, that also stitches it at the same time. So one of the things that I like about the 2017 Q360 is that you can now stitch 4K videos on an S6, on the Samsung S6, and I expect that it will be able to do it on lower end phones as well. You don't need an S7 to stitch in 4K, which frees you up to do 360 video editing on the road with the apps such as Collect 360 or V360. So once it's saved, it shows up in your phone's gallery, and it can be viewed in 360. One thing I noticed is there appear to be limited sharing options, at least in this pre-release version. There was no preset for YouTube or Facebook or one of the other popular social media platforms. Hopefully, the release version they'll add that in. So now let's talk about my first impressions. So for video quality, I think it's superb. I have a link in the description below for a sample 360 video with the 2017 Gear 360, so you can judge for yourself. But I love the exposure, the colors, the resolution. It's just great. It looks great. Now with photo resolution, as I mentioned earlier, the photo resolution is 15 megapixels, which is only half of the original Gear 360s. Having said that, I think the photos look great. Now, I also have a link in the description for sample photos, so again, you can see for yourself. But once more, I love the exposure, which appears spot on. The tonality looks great. The contrast, the colors are amazing. And in one of the samples that I took photos of bougainvilleas in the middle of noon with very bright sunlight, nearly sunny 16 conditions. And if you're a photographer and you're working with a limited resolution or small sensor camera, that's a recipe for disaster, because bougainvilleas are vibrantly fuchsia or pink, and you'll know that's gonna the red channel is gonna blow very easy. But in the case of the 2017 Gear 360, I was amazed that it captured the range of reds. Now let's talk about the stitching. I love the stitching. I think it's super smooth, and a lot of people like it too, but not everyone is a fan of that, and I totally acknowledge that. So that's why I provide videos and photos in the link so you can judge for yourself. But when I look at the videos from the 2017 Gear 360, if I don't look at the nadir, it's kind of hard to find the stitch line, and in some cases I can't find it at all. So for photos, the stitch line is more obvious if you stitch with the app. I found out that you can stitch the 2017 Gear 360 photos on the original Gear 360's Action Director desktop software, and when you do that, the stitching looks even smoother. In fact, it is totally seamless, and like I said, you don't have to take my word for it. Links in the description. Let's conclude. We talked about why the 2017 Gear 360 is important, and we talked about its key specifications and features, and then I showed you samples of how to take photos and videos with it, as well as viewing and stitching the photos in the app. And then we talked about my first impressions of its video quality, and as I mentioned, there are sample photos and videos in the links below for you to look at. So overall, I think the Gear 360, the 2017 Gear 360 is a winner. And it looks very promising, like it could be the most popular 360 camera for 2017. This is not just because of its features, but because also of its price, which is only $250. That undercuts every other 360 camera that has 4K resolution. So this is the most affordable 4K camera right now, and it's not just cost cutting and you get the bare bones camera, but you actually get a great camera. So I'm looking forward to the release version of the 2017 Gear 360 app, so I can try out the live streaming and give it a full review. So in the meantime, if you'd like to see more samples from the Gear 360 or other 360 cameras, please subscribe and please check out my website 360rumors.com. Thank you for watching.